Michael, upon walking in here, I'm just in awe, and I know our entire group is in awe with Mi Tierra. Give us a bit of background. Give us some history on the name and how the whole thing came to be.
Well, the name was the restaurant was named by my grandfather Pedro and Cruz Cortez, the founders of this restaurant, and they started the restaurant in 1941, 75 years ago. And the name is named Mi Tierra. Loosely, it really means my dirt, but it really means my home, my homeland. And that's really the significance of what Mi Tierra means. And when my grandfather came to the United States in the 30s, he met my grandmother. They both opened this restaurant, like I said, in 1941. It was a 3-table restaurant in the same building, just off of the lobby when you walked in. And so in 1951, the owners of this building offered this restaurant that we're in right now, actually this dining room that we're in right now. And this is what we call the original dining room. Some people refer to the Christmas room because although this is the holiday season, it is very much like this all year long. And people see it, they feel very much at home here. The original paneling you see on the walls are very much what it is now. The food booths are what you see the way they were in the 50s. And so we haven't really touched much of this dining room. But the restaurant, by the 1960s, 1961, the owners of this building and the brokers, the produce brokers, because this was a farmer's market, they all relocated to the west side of town and opened up a new establishment, a new larger terminal. The city was growing, suburbs, grocery stores, chains, all of everything that comes with as the city expands, right? And so larger trucks couldn't come through here, and that was the other reason why Mi Tierra was open 24 hours a day. We never closed. We had farmers 24 hours a day. We had people, the hustle and bustle, late night crowds. This was really the place to be. And of course, we also had in 1968 the San Antonio World's Fair, the Hemisphere, and that really established San Antonio on the map for tourism and travel, and so that really took off, and we couldn't really keep both restaurants open, so my grandfather just kept Mi Tierra running. But by the 1960s, the owners of the building sold the property to my grandfather. So my grandfather now really was, found his American dream. He owned now a whole city block, which is this whole building. And you look at this building, and he's just started really to expand his restaurant. Kept Mi Tierra, and if you look at that picture that's right across the dining room here, that is one of the last times he walked through the old kitchen. And it's kind of symbolic because it's as if we're actually following him, to the future. His vision of what Mi Tierra was, because what ended up happening by the 70s was this whole area became threatened by, and I say threatened, urban renewal was a good thing for a lot of different places, but also threatened to tear down a lot of beautiful landmarks, and Market Square was one of those. And he had a connection, such a connection, because he grew up of an area called Guadalajara, Jalisco, in a town, a part of town called Tlaquepaque. And Tlaquepaque was a mercado, very much like this mercado. And so he related so much to what this market was. And so he knew, that's why he felt so much at home that he named his restaurant Mi Tierra. And so that was the significance of that.
So, okay, you're open 24/7.
Correct.
And we were told that this is one of the places in San Antonio that you have to go. But a few minutes ago, you mentioned late night crowds.
Sure.
So paint for me a picture of what's happening in Mi Tierra on a Saturday night. It's 9 or 10 o'clock Saturday night. I imagine the place is just jumping.
Well, absolutely. Well, let me tell you, Neil, that it is pretty interesting to see, because it comes in waves. You get the 6 o'clock crowd, you get the 9 o'clock crowd, and then you get the 11 o'clock crowd, then you get the 2 o'clock crowd,
right,
and then you get the 4 o'clock crowd. It is pretty crazy, and they're all different. and they're all uniquely. I don't know how to describe it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, everyone who's anyone, and it's a lot of people watching. Actually, a lot of people just come for that alone. Just to see what's going on in San Antonio. And what's amazing about San Antonio is you'll see at the counter, the lady, the old lady having her carne guisada taco next to the guy who just came from the opera in his tuxedo having, a steak ranchero tapiqueña or something. And so that's what Mi Tierra is all about. There's larger crowds that come in, the smaller crowds that come in.
Michael, when about 10 minutes ago, I started crying. I never go to restaurants and cry. That's not something I like to do. So can you describe what happened here? For all of us were in awe, but what exactly happened here about 10 minutes ago?
Well, we just had the Estudiantina from San Luis Potosí. And this is a beautiful group of students that come in that dress, they come in their traditional dress, and they come, about once a quarter. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. I've seen them pretty much all my life, about almost 40 years now. And this group, they're so, they come, they're kids from, 8, 9 years old, all the way to teenagers, 18 years old. And they're all, they study music, everything from accordion to the mandolin to violins. And it is, and he learned to sing. And they're about, 20 kids, on all those ages, and they come in and they sing and play, for our patrons. And
Michael, it was so emotional. That little guy was like 5. He was singing into my eyes. I mean, I saw what the visitors here, your patrons were just amazed by this.
And let me tell you, and I think that's what Mi Tierra is. It's an emotion. People come really just for an experience. I think we talk a lot about, we're not in the business of food. I mean, food is subjective. Really it's about the experience that you come to have, what you see, the environment, the atmosphere, and what you walk away with, and the experience that you have. And so,
Michael, how old were you when you started working here, and what were you doing?
So I was 10 years old, and I was doing everything. And, I just introduced you guys to my son, who also was 10 years old when he started, and I think our family is harder on family because we want to make sure that everyone goes through, I don't know, say through the ringer, but it sure felt like it. But and that's the thing. I mean, not all family really stuck around. There's family members. We have family members who are doctors and then studying to be attorneys and doing all these different things. But it really, you got to have a passion for what you do. And I think that goes for anything in life. You love what you do. I wake up every morning and I love what I do. And so
you can see it. Is your grandfather? Would he be proud to see how far this has come and how far you and your family have come?
I believe so. I think he's very, very proud that we've transitioned into the third generation and that we're grooming our fourth generation. I'll tell you that I just saw my grandmother just the other day. She's 95 years old.
Oh, God bless.
And she is an amazing woman. She reminds me every day that she's praying for all 625 team members that work in our business, because it's not just Mi Tierra. We have La Margarita, Pico de Gallo, Viva Villa, and of course Mi Tierra and our mariachi bar. But we're 625 team members, and we're getting ready to celebrate our holiday season. We're getting ready to do our holiday party, which I co-host with a radio announcer of all people, which is kind of cool. We mix it up. We do between radio and television, and we do a comedian. This year, it's a guy who has the #1 radio show in Spanish, Jesse Lechuga, pretty hilarious guy, and so I'm looking forward to co-emceeing with him this year.
All right, so paint a scenario for you, and I did it to you with the Saturday night crowd. Okay, so it's, I don't know, whatever, pick a night of the week, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, and you're beat, and you're tired, and it's been a long day, and you're hungry. So what do you get off the menu when you're here?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
like, you need something to make you need food that's going to really speak to your soul. What do you order?
what you ordered was the caldo de pollo. That's probably one of my favorites. But you know what? If I really, I'm hungry and I'm ready to go home and I want to get something to eat, I gotta have the chicken flautas.
The chicken what?
Chicken flautas. Okay, chicken flautas are they're on corn and they're rolled flauta, chicken-filled flautas. They're lightly fried. Oh my God, they're so amazing.
Okay.
And you know what? And I didn't even suggest that to none of you.
You didn't. But listen, have you been to Canada before?
I have not. I hear it is beautiful.
All right, what's your
I've been
message?
very close to Canada several times. I just haven't crossed. I will.
Our Toronto listeners would love to be here, I'm sure. What's your message, or what should they be picking? Anything to keep in mind?
Well, I will say this, that we do get, we have a lot of visitors that come from Canada. I love, not only do I talk to travel writers or visitors all the time, and I'm so happy to say that they love coming to mi tierra, and I'm so proud, that they come down and they're welcome anytime. Our doors are always open. We actually lost keys. We didn't have no keys to the doors, so they're open 24 hours a day for everyone in Canada. So
let me ask a quick question. I met your son. Is this a legacy? Do you want him, because as much as you want to live forever, you're not going to. So do you want him to take over?
I think it's in all of our families' desire for the family to continue, but you know what? We don't push it. I remember sitting at that counter there and bringing him as a young kid, 8 years old, and him listening to those same kids playing, listening to the music, and one day saying, hopefully he'll bite, he'll take, and then one day him saying, you know what, Dad, I want to go to work with you. Not just I want to come be with you. It was, I want to put the apron on and I want to work. And so, and that continues. And so as long as he wants to do that, I'm not pushing him to not. And so he's going to college, and I'm proud of him, for doing that as well.